Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 rose fragrances, so stay tuned for that. And if you like top 10 lists, fragrance reviews, cologne comparisons, and first impressions, hit that subscribe button for more great content. So, I'm going to actually point out that for me, rose is not one of my favorite notes, and I actually do find a lot of rose fragrances are really unenjoyable, but there have been a few over the years that I've found that I do quite enjoy. So I want to talk about this a little bit. And some others. I have 2 honorable mentions. I'm personally not a big fan of them, but I do think that a lot of people like them and they do have a certain quality about them. So I'm going to get right into the honorable mentions first. And the first one is L'Homme à la Rose by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. You know, this is one where if you want something very rosy, rose dominant, this is something you should check out. I did find, you know, the opening, the rose did feel a little bit like maybe it had a bit of a plastic stem, but it moved into a very nice, realistic, rosy smell. So, you know, I feel like the quality is there. It does last a good amount of time. And for people who are huge fans of rose, especially rose dominant fragrances, it is definitely worth a check. Now, for me personally, somebody who isn't the biggest rose fan, you know, I didn't love it, but like I said, I want to put it on the list. The next one is another one that I think is very popular, and I did talk about it quite a long time ago, a few years ago. Oud Satin Mood, also by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. The biggest thing with this one is twofold. One, I do find it a little synthetic. It is a not a little synthetic, a little bit feminine, which I think is the challenge with rose, is making it not come off like it is a female fragrance. So I did definitely get that impression a little bit with the fragrance. But again, I have to say this is one that is very complex. So it goes through a lot of very interesting stages. And it also does have super high quality and absolutely nuclear performance. Like this one, I had a little sample, one of the 3 mils, sprayed 3 sprays of it. So that's maybe equivalent to 1 full spray from a bottle, maybe a little bit more, but I think it's about 1 full spray. And I did get a comment from somebody at work that they could smell it down the hall. Unbelievable performance on that one. Now, like I said, it does start with this really nice sort of sweet rose vibe, and it turns into something that does come across like a really high quality luxury soap. And if you do like that sort of luxury soapy rose feel, definitely one to check out. But like I said, for me, it was just not quite one that made the list. Next one. Now we're into the actual list. We are in the 5th position, and I'm going to be starting off with Roses on Ice. And this is one I think did get a decent amount of, I mean, it wasn't the most well-received. People definitely liked Angel Share a lot more. Personally, I also like Angel Share a lot more. But Roses on Ice is a very interesting, very nice, fresh fragrance. I do kind of refer to it as niche Nautica Voyage. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but it is definitely a lot more complex, but it does have that fresh cucumber vibe that a lot of people associate with Nautica. And I found it quite funny that I did put that on Fragrantica, and a decent amount of people actually agreed with me that it did remind them of Nautica Voyage. Again, I mean, the quality's higher. I find that Nautica can be a little screechy, and there's a lot more complexity. So it is nice. You do get this really prominent fresh cucumber. Does have this nice cooling vibe. This is another one where I do find that the rose is not particularly prominent. So it is one where the rose is a little bit more toned back, and that's generally speaking for me how I prefer rose fragrances. I don't usually like it to be front and center, but you know, I know some people really like that, and sometimes it's done really well. But anyways, you get this nice, fresh, semi-aquatic, not really full-on aquatic, definitely, but you do get this sort of clean, watery feel, this nice, fresh cucumber, and a little hint of rose. And like I said, it has a very nice cooling effect. So it is one that, as we're moving into fall and winter, not really the best, but it is one that, you know, if you are a Kilian fan, if you like cucumber as a note, you should definitely check that one out. It is, you know, I think it was definitely overshadowed by Angel Share, but a nice one nonetheless. Now, next one that I have talked about quite a few times, really great spring fragrance in my opinion, that is Toy Boy. You know, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Criminal of Love by Kilian, which I believe was a discontinued fragrance now. It did have the Fabergé egg bottle, which was always very cool. I did like it for that. But what it gets, you get this sort of bubblegummy, big red chew kind of a vibe with the rose in the opening. So it does come off a little bit synthetic for sure, but not in a bad way. It just doesn't smell like an authentic, natural rose that you're smelling right in your face. And as it starts to move along, the spices really move in, and that's where I really, really enjoy this fragrance. It has this very nice, fresh, spicy vibe with a fairly dominant rose, but a rose that's done nonetheless quite good. So do enjoy that one as well. And this is one that on the discounters, if you do like it, I've seen it on discounts for like $30 or something for 50 ml. Who knows, it might even be cheaper now. And so that's a really, really great pickup if it is one that you enjoy, of course. Like I said, if you're not a rose fan, you might still like it, but you might not. Next one is Halfeti by Penhaligon. Now this one, to me, it's a bit of a mix. So for me, on my skin, it's a very woody fragrance, and I really like that energy that it has. It has this really nice, robust woodiness with a hint of rose. And that, to me, carries the fragrance a long way. It's very, very nice, very classy. It does have that sort of masculine feel if you're thinking about more traditional fragrance, I guess. But it is one that I also found that on paper, it had a very, very loud rose fragrance. And so you might just find that on your skin, it's really, really rosy. And if that's not something you're looking for, you may very much dislike that fragrance. But it is one that for me was really, really surprised on skin, because I did try it out on paper first, and the way it works on my skin, fabulous, really amazing, nice, rich, woody fragrance. And I would like to try, I know there's a Halfeti Cedar, would like to try that one out, because I get the impression that it's also a wood dominant fragrance. And so I think it would be one that I enjoy, but I'll try it out all in due time. Next one I personally have, one that you're probably expecting if you watch the channel, and of course that is Viking. I was a little surprised. I was watching Jeremy the other day, and he did say this is a bit of a dated fragrance, and I mean, for me, it's a very old school style of fragrance, but it does have, to me, a very nice modern touch. So it has that nice, fresh spiciness. It has the mint that adds a really nice cooling effect. And it does have just a hint of rose, adding a nice dynamic feature to this fragrance. And it is, again, one that the rose is a little bit more in the background. So for people that aren't huge fans of rose, this might still work for you. But for me, I absolutely love that fresh, spicy, that fiery cooling effect that you get with the mint and the pepper in this one. Works really well. There's something about the opening that gives me almost a little bit of a watery feel too. I'm not sure what that is. Definitely not aquatic, but it does have more of that traditional barbershop vibe, but I think it's done in a much more modern way. Now, I will say personally, I didn't really like the Aventus Cologne. That was the video that Jeremy was talking about. He said Aventus Cologne is much better. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on that one. Some people absolutely love it. To me, wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't hate it, but wasn't the biggest fan. I think this one is the one for me, which is nice because I actually almost blind bought it because I do like Viking a lot. Didn't do it. Good choice for me. Now, on to the last one. Probably, again, no surprise for people that do watch the channel. And this one is a lot more rose heavy. So definitely have to be a little bit more aware or understanding that rose is very sharp in this fragrance. And that is by Kilian Musk Oud. And this is one of the most luxurious fragrances that I personally own. It is one of those ones for like a highly formal occasion. This would absolutely fit in really, really well. This is the peak of luxury. The kind of person I feel like that would wear this is somebody who likes the higher quality things in life. And this is something that really symbolizes that. Now, as I say every time, I know it's called Musk Oud, but I get like minimal, if any, woodiness whatsoever. Definitely doesn't have any oudy vibe. There might be a little bit of a nice, clean, woody feeling in the dry down, which you definitely get that cleanness from the musk. And one thing that's really interesting about it is that it is fairly boozy on the opening, but again, the booziness doesn't come off like other Kilian fragrances, so you don't actually end up, to me, smelling a lot like, like you're drunk, perhaps, which, I like a lot of Kilian fragrances, so I personally don't mind, but it does have a certain kind of alcohol feeling to it that does go with this nice, sharp, crisp rose, and a very clean, but definitely detectable. There's a little bit of a prickly feeling to that muskiness that is really, really nice. This is not a complex fragrance. This isn't one that changes a lot. It's fairly one-dimensional, but performance is fantastic. And if you like it, if you're looking for a luxury black suit, tuxedo kind of vibe, this is a really nice one to check out. So guys, for me, that is it. Those are my top 5 rose fragrances for men, with 2 other suggestions for people that do really like rose. You know what? Leave a comment down below. What are some rose fragrances or fragrances with a note that you really don't like very much, but somehow it works really well with the fragrance? So that's basically, for me, rose. Not a note that I like a lot, but some fragrances done really, really well. So do leave a comment down below. Always love hearing some suggestions for new things to try out when I get the chance, and definitely looking forward to, in the near future, going down to some of the boutiques at the store. Finally, don't live in the middle of nowhere, so there are a lot more boutiques and a lot more department stores where I can actually try out fragrances. So looking forward to that. But anyways, leave a comment down below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.